All right. We're hoping second time is the charm, and that today we will be able successfully here on KLAM to bring you the town meeting talk show, which if you're hearing this, it's actually working. Unlike yesterday, which wasn't, and was really lame. And we apologize for that and hope it never happens again. Our town meeting talk show today is about the Bay to Bay in May athletic event. I know this sounds like a clip from Happy Gilmore, but actually it's a pretty cool thing. And you're going to learn all about it thanks to Dr. Paul Gloe, who had this idea and is going to describe it thoroughly and thusly. And we are able to be here because of Cordova Wireless Communications, the sponsor of this show. And if you want to know the real key to the superior services you get from Cordova Wireless and CTC for that matter, it's because they're all connected to the world via fiber. That means all the services that they offer, better internet speeds, better downloads, faster data speeds, and the reliability, that all comes from the fiber because it doesn't fail like the other services because of weather or satellite or anything else like that. So all of that, plus, of course, they keep your money right here in town, which helps a great deal. So let's begin now. Our town meeting talk show brought to you by Cordova Wireless Communications with Dr. Gloe about the Bay to Bay in May event. So, Doctor, tell us all about it. What's got you excited these days?
Well, I'm really excited. I'm putting together this run or bike run event called the Bay to Bay in May. I'm pretty happy with my catchy name for it. That was kind of the start of it all. But the most exciting part is that it's, I think, a really neat course. It's essentially the waterfront roadage of the Cordova area. It's going to start in Hartney Bay and end at Orca Bay Lodge. What a classy Cordova thing to do.
And, getting back to spring, getting more daylight. Through spring, getting back to summer.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is there any kind of registration or anything necessary?
Well, it would be great to have a head count. So I'm asking folks to call the clinic at 424-8200 to register. But the day of the event, people will need to sign a waiver just because that's the nature of things these days. But we could get waivers done before, but if not, they need to be there a little early to get the waiver done. But I'm hoping that folks will register. I guess I'll admit out loud, I'll be pleased whoever shows up, and we'll get everybody participating. But
so
great to have a head count.
As we've been saying, there are a couple of ways. Now, first off, what time does it sort of officially start, and what time would you like people to be, to start arriving out at Hartney Bay to get started?
Right. Yeah. So it's going to start in two phases. The runners, so you can either run the entire length, which is little over 9 miles, or you can bike to the Cordova Center, which is 6 miles, and then finish by running or walking to Orca Bay Lodge. So it's going to start at 11 a.m. for the runners, and the bikers will start at 11:30. But I'd want everyone to hopefully be there about 15 minutes in advance for the start.
Okay, just to get signed up and leave some time to stretch and warm up and probably that kind of thing.
And there's just going to be some logistics to it because we're going to be actually starting past the main parking area because I want everyone to be able to run along the full stretch of Hartney Bay. So there's going to be a little bit of getting down that portion of road, getting cars turned around and doing it safely. So a little extra time would be great. So
what would you do? So would ideally about 15 minutes early, or would it be nice if people would get there a little earlier even than that?
Yeah. I think 15 minutes would barely be the minimum. That would probably be the safe thing to say, just so that we can start. Because I really am going to start at certain times, and then because we're not going to have any fancy chip timers or things like that. So I'm just going to start the clock at 11, and then start the clock at 11:30 for the bikers.
Okay, and so everybody makes their way, whether they just and I seem to remember the flyer too saying this is not a relay where like somebody would bike half and somebody would then do the running part at the end or that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I think for simplicity this year, we're just going to keep it as a individual event. So I appreciate you pointing that out. And I think that I think most folks can do it, and it's kind of fun to be able to incorporate two different physical activities into one event for those interested in doing both.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's too bad you can't go for a swim out there in the Briny Sea and really, like swim over to Spike Island, but probably
Right.
you'd need a
Right.
longer waiver to do that.
Yes, that's
Um,
right.
you say you're going to be running the clock now. Is this a like a race or a fun run, or what kind of a mindset are you looking for from people who participate? Is it hardcore or more
Well,
casual?
I would love it to have a little bit of everybody. So I would love it if somebody just crushed it and set uh, some sort of time that's just not beatable for 20 years. That would be fantastic because I hope that this becomes more of a thing that maybe even folks from out of town will travel to come do. And I'd love it if it was a Cordovan who set that. But I think we take things a little too seriously sometimes, especially in a small town where we're worried about, well, I didn't train enough. So I'd rather that most people just have fun. And then I'm expecting and hoping that some people who are fit we'll try to really push it, especially on the run. The bike,
Yeah.
I don't want people getting into wrecks, especially and
Yeah.
so, in the spirit of that, we're going to time it. I'm going to publish the fastest times of kids and males and females, and maybe we'll try to come up with some sort of small medal or certificate for the winners. But the real prizes are going to the most average time, which is kind of a fun twist I'm putting on this. That literally whoever gets the most median average time, male and female, will be the winners of the race. So
Huh.
not the slowest. So you don't want to be at the back of the pack, but you also don't want to be at the front of the pack if you want to get the prize. And I think it's a good prize. It's a Copper River Fleece customizable jacket. So that's
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the
yeah,
official wear of Alaska every place now, pretty
right,
much.
right.
Quite a change from when Jenny was starting it in that little building, all those years ago with a brand new idea, and then just poof, it's all over the place. It's in the halls of Washington
Exactly.
D.C. and yeah,
Right.
that's really cool. Well, and again, a very coveted prize and an interesting way have you participated in events that have done that sort of pointed at the average time before, or is this a brand new thing?
I've heard of, well, since doing this, I've heard of people participating in this, but no, this is my selfish way to try to take things not so seriously with our running and race events.
Sure.
Because really, it's about. I think that there's a lot of people who get lost in the worrying about how they're going to perform rather than just being part of the club. I
Yeah.
think being part of the club is what we really should all be striving for our overall long-term health.
And is that largely what you're trying to draw attention to with this, or is it really about drawing attention to anything and just more of an excuse to have fun? Is there an underlying theme or motivation?
Well, it's nice to focus sometimes on preventative medicine and physical activity is at the absolute top. I guess there would be a quick plug to say that it's pretty profound that studies have shown that the greatest risk factor for a severe COVID illness ended up being inactivity,
Yeah.
not anything else, not smoking, not heart disease, not history of cancer. It was inactivity, and so it's something that we all just need to work on, every one of us, every day. And so
Yeah.
I have a passion for that. And then I think it would be great to get some fresh air in this community. And it is during the Shorebird Festival, but
Hmm.
more specifically, I planned it. That's great. That's fantastic. But I'm really excited that it's the last weekend before commercial and subsistence fishing gets started. So,
Sure.
this is a big fishing town, and I just wanted to make sure that they all have an opportunity to participate.
Yeah. Are there any? Remind me again how long you've been with us here now in Cordova and also in Alaska.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely a new guy here. I'm still like in the infancy period where people talk about months. I
Hmm.
haven't even been here 2 years. I think I'm at 20 months
Yeah.
of being in Cordova, but I have 20 years in Alaska. A lot of that was in Sitka's and a chapter in Nome. Yeah.
Yeah, because a question I know that gets brought up from time to time is, we obviously are more active in the summer than we are in the winter. And sometimes if you go from 0 to 90 in 5 seconds, you invite some problems. So are there any concerns, in your experience for how to kind of wake your body back up after not doing a whole lot, after maybe being more sedentary?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm hoping that the bike run is something that bike run or walk is something that anybody can basically get off the couch and do. But it's certainly a good idea to make sure the bike works, go have some fun, ride a couple times, and maybe incorporate both the run and bike together, just so that your body's used to doing two different things. You definitely training is going to help somebody do better, but there's a lot of folks in this town who could just get off the couch realistically and finish a half marathon. They might suffer, but they can do it. And the classic thing though that really does cause injuries is the high school football star who watched the Super Bowl and then is pretty jazzed afterwards, and then goes and runs 5 miles and hurts their knee. So you have to exercise some caution and listen to your body. But
and of course in commercial fishing there are a lot of ways to get hurt, and so I'm thinking about that too, even beyond the scope just of this event you're talking about, which right. kind of has which has at least some overlap with the idea of coming out of winter going into summer, waking back up, paying attention to your fitness. And right. I would think that commercial fishermen getting back into that very intensive labor, that there maybe some things that can be done to avoid injury.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep. Just moving your body, stretching before you do things, and not just going 120% right off the bat.
Yeah.
Just slowly easing back into things. Yep.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it's going to be fun. It's a concept, of course, that Cordova's familiar with, having a distance event like this that is a serious opportunity for people to push themselves on one end of the spectrum and then maybe a little less so on the other, because the Alaska salmon runs have been that way. Right. I like the idea that everybody will be biking or running over Irene Weber Bridge out there. That's very poetic. So any other thoughts about the event? What's the date again now?
Oh, yeah, May 7th.
May 7th.
The runners will start at 11 a.m. and the bike will start at 11:30 and be there a minimum of 15 minutes before.
Yeah. And starting out at Hartney Bay.
Starting at Hartney Bay, yep.
And finishing at Orca Lodge, you said.
Correct, yep.
Good. Well, I hope folks will join in. It certainly does sound like a fun way to kind of, really say goodbye to winter and hello to summer and the busy time of year, and when all of us put in a lot of extra time to make a living, and it's a neat idea. I'm glad that you decided to take it up. So, final thoughts?
Oh, well, thanks for helping me get the word out there, and I look forward to seeing a lot of you out there with me.
Okay, Dr. Gloe, glad you could be with us here today.
Yep. All right. Take care.
Our town meeting talk show, supposed to be on Tuesday, ended up being on Wednesday with Dr. Gloe. Hope you enjoyed learning all about that event and will choose to participate. Our show brought to you by Cordova Wireless Communications, which along with CTC brings $12 million, think about that, $12 million into the community each and every year because of how they do business. And that money circulates through people's homes, our businesses, and our town. 7 times per dollar is still the average. And that money stays here, circulates here. When you do business with CTC or Cordova Wireless, you're not sending money to Valdez or Anchorage or anything. It's right here for Cordova. You can learn more about the superior services from the local folks at Cordova Wireless Communications, who bring you today's town meeting talk show, and we will bring you the rest of your 10 a.m. hour programming. All the features you usually get are coming up right here on KLAM.